Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here you will find lots of resources and revision for Leaving Cert English. Today we're going to look at the poem If Love Was Jazz by Linda France. Linda France was born in 1958 in Newcastle upon Tyne in the UK. Linda has published 8 collections of poetry. She loves to write about nature and she also loves jazz music. She has received many prizes and awards for her poetry. So, what do you know about jazz music? What do you associate with jazz music? Jazz music developed in the late 20th century in the United States in the African American communities of New Orleans. It was always associated with nightlife, sexuality, partying and alcohol. It was seen as good time music. Stanza 1. If love was jazz. Here the poet compares love to jazz. If jazz is associated with fun, sex, alcohol and parties, she wishes her experiences with love were like jazz too. But as we read through the poem, we'll realise that her love life is rather lacking and she doesn't have any excitement, and she wishes that her love life would bring her excitement in the way that jazz always does. I'd be dazzled. Jazz music has the ability to make her dazzled. This means it makes her feel excited and passionate. Jazz music is controlling her and makes her feel excited. She's excited by its razzmatazz, what a great word, meaning noisy and exciting activity. A good word to describe the mood at a jazz party. So the poet wishes that her experience of love would give her the same exciting feelings that jazz music does. But unfortunately, she has not found these feelings yet from any relationship. Poor woman. Stanza 2. If love was a sax. Here she compares love to a saxophone. The sound of the saxophone playing jazz makes her feel strong emotions. She wishes that the relationships she has also made her feel strong emotions. I'd melt in its brassy flame like wax. She compares the feeling that the saxophone gives her to wax melting from a flame on a candle. The sax music makes her melt inside, but her relationship doesn't give her this feeling. This is a good metaphor, a comparison, because love is often described as melting our hearts. The sax is like a flame of brass on the stage. When she looks up at the stage, the brass saxophone shines in the light like a flame. Love is often compared to a flame or a fire inside us. If love was a guitar, here the poet compares love to a guitar. I'd pluck its 6 strings. She would touch each and every one of those guitar strings. This means she would like some intimacy or touch in her life. 8 to the bar. Here she shows us her technical knowledge of jazz music. A bar is a small segment of music that has a certain number of beats. It keeps the rhythm of the song. She would like more rhythm in her love life. She would like a little bit more action, I think, by the sounds of things. If love was a trombone. Here the poet compares love to a trombone. Now take a good look at this instrument. This instrument is played by moving the part known as the slide. to various positions to create different notes. So I think this poet wouldn't mind trying out a few positions herself. I'd feel its slow slide. Here the poet compares the movement of the instrument's slide to a slow, intimate touch. Right down my backbone. She imagines feeling someone touching her and feeling the excitement all the way down her backbone. Let's look at some assonance here, which is repeated vowel sounds. Here she uses assonance of the long vowel O. Love, trombone, slow, backbone. These repeated O sounds are sounds that she wishes to be making, like oh, as somebody touches her. Alliteration, which is repeated consonant sounds. She uses alliteration of S, slow slide, which creates a soft, sensuous mood in the poem as she imagines being touched. Stanza 5. If love was a drum. Here she compares love to a drum. I'd be caught in its snare. She loves the feeling of being caught or trapped in the music. The snare here has two meanings. First, it is the name of the drum used in jazz. Secondly, a snare is a trap for catching birds or animals. What she means here is that she's totally caught up in the rhythm of jazz, but she wishes to be totally caught up in love with someone. Kept under its thumb. This is an idiom. To be under someone's thumb means to be completely under someone's influence or control. She is under the thumb of jazz music, meaning that she is fully controlled by jazz. She wishes she was under the thumb of love and a lover. Stanza 6. If love was a trumpet. Here the poet compares love to a trumpet. I'd blow it and make out of that whatever you want. She would blow the trumpet. This means she would like to have a partner to kiss, to put her mouth upon. And we'll say no more about that now. Let's look at the structure of the poem so far. Up to this point, all the stanzas have 3 lines. Now here in stanza 6, about the trumpet, she changes to a rhyming couplet. If love was a trumpet, I'd blow it. 2 lines where the last word on line 1, trumpet, rhymes with the last word on the second line, blow it. She does this because jazz music can suddenly change its pace or rhythm. So she's making the poem structure copy how a jazz song can suddenly change its rhythm, moving from 3-line stanzas to a 2-line rhyming couplet in stanza 6. Stanza 7. If love was jazz, I'd sing its praises. Here we have another idiom. To sing someone's praises. This means to say good things about another person. Here the poet would like to celebrate love by writing about it. Like Larkin has. Philip Larkin was a famous English poet who also loved jazz. For many years, he wrote a weekly jazz column for a newspaper. The poet would like to write about celebrating love in the same way Larkin wrote about celebrating jazz. Stanza 8. But love isn't jazz. By starting with the word but, the poem is going to take a different direction. The first 7 stanzas had a playful tone or mood. Now the poem is getting sadder, more serious, and more realistic. She realizes that her love life has not been like all the positive comparisons to jazz. It's an organ recital. Here she uses a metaphor. She compares her disappointing experiences of love with an organ recital, not jazz. An organ is a church piano. A recital is when people come to listen to the organ in the church. An organ recital is boring and lacks the energy that she is looking for in love. Eminently worthy. She says that an organ recital is eminently worthy, meaning it is very respectable. Her past experiences with love have been respectable, but that is not what she's looking for. Not nearly as vital. However, her past experiences with love were respectable and nice, but they had no vitality, no energy, no excitement that she was looking for. Stanza 9, the last stanza. If love was jazz, I'd always want more. The poet doesn't want to end her poem in a depressing note. Therefore, she ends the poem on a positive image of love as jazz. She always wants more jazz. This is the kind of love she's looking for. Loving her partner should make her feel like she always wants more. I'd be a regular. If love was jazz, she would be a regular at that jazz club. She would keep coming back for more. This is the kind of love she is looking for. She never wants to feel bored in love, and she would always come back for more. On that smoky dance floor. If love was jazz, she would always be a regular on the smoky dance floor. Jazz make her want to dance and enjoy herself. This type of love that she wants should make her feel the same way. So let's have a look now at the technical side of the poem, the language in the poem. So extended metaphor. The poem uses an extended metaphor, which is a comparison that appears in most of the stanzas, which is comparing love to jazz. Rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme in the poem reflects the irregular nature of jazz music. The poet changes the rhyme scheme in many times in the poem. The first 5 stanzas have a rhyme scheme of A, B, A, where the first and third word rhyme. For example, in stanza 1, if love was jazz, I'd be dazzled by the razzmatazz, jazz and razzmatazz. 6th stanza has a rhyming couplet. We'll all remember that one. If love was a trumpet, I'd blow it. The poem then returns to ABA in stanza 7, and the final 2 stanzas have a rhyme scheme CD, ED. The structure of the poem. The structure of the poem reflects the irregular nature of jazz music. The first 5 stanzas have 3 lines. The 6th stanza has 2 lines, a rhyming couplet. The 7th stanza has 3 lines, and the last 2 stanzas have 4 lines. Rhythm, the beats per line. The rhythm of the poem reflects the irregular nature of jazz music. The poem is written in short lines with irregular rhythm. So there's not an equal number of beats per line, and there's no pattern that emerges. The stanza referring to the drum, however, has a very regular rhythm. Repetition. The poet uses the repeated phrase, if love was jazz, throughout the poem. Assonance. Repeated vowel sounds. The poet uses the long O vowels, trombone, slow, backbone, which creates the assonance musical quality that she wants to be making those O sounds herself as someone touches her. Alliteration. Repeated consonant sounds. We have the repeated S sounds, slow slide, which creates a soft, sensuous mood in the poem as she imagines being touched. The tone or mood of the poem. Some stanzas, the tone is playful, humorous, regretful, and optimistic. So if you found these videos helpful, please go to Michelle Benson English Teacher and subscribe so you won't miss any future videos.